Lake classic The Rock. DC20 brings you the best in movies, sports, and entertainment. We're Washington's super station for fun. DC20, your super station for sports, proudly presents Washington Capitals hockey. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Michelob. One taste will tell you why the night belongs to Michelob. By Providence Savings and Loan for the best combination of rates and securities in the Washington area. By Giant Food. We care about quality, value, and service. We care about you. By CNP Telephone Yellow Pages, the one that works. By Amtrak's Metroliner service to the Civilized Shuttle. And by Roy Rogers, fast food you'll want to eat slow.
Tonight, live from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan. It's the Washington Capitals and the Detroit Red Wings here on DC20. Good evening, everybody. Mike Orange, your play-by-play host, along with Al Koken. The Capitals winding up a long road trip. They played 4 games out west and are playing the last game of this current road swing here in Detroit tonight. And it's a chance now to bring things up to a 500 mark if they can take these Red Wings.
Right now, 1-2-1 on the road trip, but I think the players themselves feel that they are playing much better, and I would imagine the coaching staff feels that way. Is that correct, Brian Murray? You feel that the team is starting to play things a little bit better, and what's the reason for the turnaround?
Well, I think going on the road was very important at this time of year. We played better, we played more discipline, we played road hockey, and I think we've kind of realized now that if we play defense and work hard at it, we can stay in every game. Unfortunately, we can say all of those things, and we still are 1-2-1. So we have to do better than that, and tonight was a good night to start it.
Well, Brian, tonight you take on a Detroit Red Wing hockey club that has had its problems in the initial stages of the season. Right now, they're trying to get atop the Norris division. Some players.
Now, that's the thing I liked on the road, where we were creating a lot of offense. We were going to the net fairly aggressively. We were playing discipline. So I think now going back, starting with this game, hopefully we'll score some. But going back home, I think we'll capitalize much better than we did early on.
Well, Brian, thanks so much for stopping by to talk with us, and good luck tonight on this final game of the road trip.
Right, thank you very much.
Capitals coach Brian Murray, our guest before the game tonight. The Capitals and the Detroit Red Wings about to get going here at the Joe Louis Arena. Detroit, certainly a team that is missing a couple of big players, and we'll be talking a little more about that as the night goes on. But tonight they have still no Bob Probert in the lineup, no Peter Klima in the lineup for Detroit. We'll be back with the opening face-off right after we pause for these words.
It's back. It's going, gone. That's out of here.
This and every sunset is brought to you by Michelob, proud sponsors of night games everywhere. Shouldn't your night belong to Michelob? The night has always brought out the contemplative side of man.
Why am I here? Where am I going? Will they have Michelob when I get there? I'm not going if they don't have Michelob.
There's a special feeling at Giant Food in everything we do. It's a feeling that you get from people who care. We put quality and value in everything we do. But most of all, we care about you. At Giant Food, we care about you.
Check again.
We interrupt this transaction for a reminder.
So what's your approach?
There's one travel tip it pays to remember.
We've got one good option.
Choosing the card that actually pays you cash. Cash back for every charge. The Discover card.
Daddy loves you too. Nice job, everybody.
It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back.
You'll find savings and service everywhere you turn during Trustworthy's Fall Problem Solver sale.
AutoWork is a snap when you work with SK Tools. Choose fractional or metric now and save. When you buy Skills Variable Speed Reversing Hammer Drill, you'll get a 5-piece bit set free.
Powerful and convenient. Skills cordless twist screwdriver with charging stand is only $15.99.
Trustworthy saves you time and money. We're the problem solvers.
He said, did you come to kill me? And I said, yes. And he said, you can't kill me. Nobody can kill me.
The men who murdered President Kennedy are still at large, but not for long. Jack Anderson exposes the most incredible conspiracy of our time. Who murdered JFK? A live television event.
Wednesday at 8 on DC-20.
Star-Spangled Banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Greetings once again from the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Mike Fornes with Al Koken here on DC-20's live exclusive coverage of the Washington Capitals. Tonight, the Red Wings with 11 points, tied with the St. Louis Blues for second in the Norris Division. And they'll face Clint Malarchuk starting for the Washington Capitals. He's 1-5-1 in 8 games, posting a 3.58 average. He is backed up by young Alain Raymond, who has seen backup duty only since his recall from Baltimore in the American Hockey League. Glenn Hanlon gets the call for the Red Wings. He's backed up by Greg Steffen. Hanlon has been involved in 3 ties in his 3 games played so far. 14 goals against and a 4.31 average, and no shutouts. Refereeing the game tonight is Paul Stewart. The linesmen are Jerry Pateman and Ron Asseltine. The Capitals with 7 points in the Patrick Division, hoping to pick up 2 here tonight, which would bring them right up with New Jersey and the New York Islanders. They're 2 points behind each of those teams. The Red Wings with immediate pressure inside the Washington zone, and Courtnall has a pass get around his skates, and it goes over to the boards. Now Detroit-born Kevin Hatcher tries to work it free, but it's taken over and picked up by Mike Ridley of Washington. He throws it out to center ice. The Red Wings' Rick Zombo back to the line. Leads it over now to Chason. Steve Chason inside the Washington zone, gives it up for Gallant, and Yzerman was ahead of the play, offside.
Brian Murray knows Steve Yzerman is the man you have to stop to try and keep the Red Wings in control. They're not blessed with a lot of offensive depth. Yzerman is one of the top players in the National Hockey League, and Jacques Demers will get him out there in every situation. Power play, killing penalties, and always on that regular shift. He was such a key factor for the Red Wings last year. They were so happy that he was able to come back from what looked to be a serious, possibly career-threatening knee injury. 16 games left to go in the regular season last year, but made a strong recovery and did play in the playoffs and played pretty well. And he's back and off to a great start again this season.
The Red Wings, as we mentioned, still missing their stars Bob Probert and Peter Klima. Although Klima is now practicing once again and playing with their Adirondack Farm Club. Here's a break on the right wing side. Cutting in and a shot right on goal. Malarchuk makes the save, stopping Adam Oates on the drive. Here's a shot from the point, and Malarchuk kicks that out. Stevens clears it over to the corner boards. Now Kelly Miller to center. Dumps it back inside the Washington zone, or the Detroit zone rather, and the Red Wings again start out as both teams change up on the fly. Here in Washington ice, Stevens chasing it behind the net. Steers it up the boards and out to center for Dave Christian. Christian across the blue line, onto his backhand, tries to throw it in front for Hunter, and that bounces to the corner, and it's thrown out of there by Oates all the way back into the Capital zone. Rod Langway is back to touch it, and icing is called with 18:22 left here in the first period of this scoreless game.
Great chance for that man, Adam Oates. Rare that he gets the breakaway. He doesn't have the blinding speed, but he's such an excellent puck handler, Mike. I was a little surprised he didn't try and do a little more deking. He had plenty of time to make some moves on Clint Malarchuk. He's got a good stride, almost a stride and a half, but he just comes right in, and even though Larry Murphy got the stick on him, Adam Oates didn't try and stick handle at all. Make Malarchuk open up, and actually this turns out to be a rather easy save in that regard for Clint Malarchuk. He goes there, takes the angle, closes off everything down the middle, and Adam Oates didn't do any deking.
Malarchuk playing in this game tonight has a touch of the flu. Here's the pass out to center ice. Barr sends it back inside the Washington zone, and Malarchuk wheels it behind the net. Now it strikes Tim Higgins, who comes up with a puck. He's in front, and he shoots, but Malarchuk makes the save, and Mike Ridley is in there to help Scott Stevens out with the house-cleaning charge as they push Higgins away from in front of the net.
You better be very careful when you're clearing the puck along the boards and into the corners against this team and against this man. This is where this guy makes his living, in the corners and along the boards. Tim Higgins very strong in that department, and Clint Malarchuk just cleared the puck right onto Higgins' stick. But again, Higgins not known for his great offensive ability, and in that regard, it helped out the Capitals.
18 minutes and 4 seconds left to go here in the first period. There is no score between the Capitals and the Red Wings. The faceoff drawn back to the point. Here's Norwood. In behind the net, now Barr tries to center. It's played off the right wing boards, and Gartner works to center ice. He's across the blue line. Mike Gartner fires up high and misses that top corner. Now it's centered, and Ridley tries to tip it home, but that's played away. Norwood clears it off the boards to the point. Scott Stevens is able to keep it in. He gives to Ridley, trying to find Gartner, but Higgins gets a stick in there. Now it's played back to center. Higgins chops at the puck along the sideboards, and it's cleared to the blue line. Now Sheehy to the left point. Now Stevens sending it wide right through the goal mouth. Courtnall tries to dig it free, but he's checked in the corner and pushed out of there by Doug Hallward. The puck cleared all the way down back into the Washington zone. Both clubs change on the fly once again. 17 minutes to go in this first period. There's no score in the game. Sharples back into his own zone. Over to Mike O'Connell. Back into the Washington end, and the Capitals' Larry Murphy to play it. Leads it ahead now on the left wing side, and here comes Bengt Gustafsson across the blue line. Takes it back into the right wing corner. Hunter works it free, takes it behind the net. Feeds it right out front, and a hard shot by Christian on goal. Now Ledyard to drive, another save. Kicked out of there by Glenn Hanlon in the Detroit goal. Rookie Chris King chasing it out to center ice, and Gustafsson wheels it over to Larry Murphy. On the left wing, Ledyard pushes it across the line. The puck back inside the Red Wing zone. Here's O'Connell to pick it up. Mike O'Connell for Detroit. Out to Jeff Sharples. Into the Washington zone. The Capitals' Grant Ledyard behind the net. He's bumped on the play and played over for Kelly Miller. Out to Bobby Gould. On right wing to center, and Stephen Leach, but it's back in the Red Wing end. Now Murphy intercepts. Taken away by the Red Wings again, and here comes Gallant to start to center. Gerard Gallant pushes it back inside the Capitals' end of the rink. Delayed offside underway. Here's a pass to Murphy. Clears the zone. The offside is called off, and up on the left wing, here's a two-line pass, and play is called with 15:38 to go in the first period. There's a break in the action with the score. The Capitals nothing, and the Red Wings nothing.
Mr. Dave Christian for Providence Savings.
If you think offsides and two-line passes are hard to understand, you should try asking a banker about mortgage rates. Unless, of course, you're asking for a Providence Savings mortgage. They have so many rates and terms, you can almost pick your own and get it fast. At Providence, you get the loan you need, not just something off the shelf. At Providence, we all wear one number, number 1.
Providence Savings, member FSLIC.
15:38 left to go in this first period. No score between the Capitals and Red Wings. Steve Yzerman's line with McLean and Gallant out there to take on the checking unit of the Washington Capitals, centered by Bob Gould, as Steve Leach on the right side, Kelly Miller on the left.
Langway is back on defense now, along with Kevin Hatcher. The lead pass to center ice. Gould's shot is deflected back into the corner. Played on the left wing side by Gallant. He works to center, dumps it past Hatcher into the corner. Here's Rod Langway. Up on the right wing to the point. It's kept in by Chason, a drive, and Malarchuk with a kick save. Now led on the left wing. Here comes Miller across the line. A shot, and he blazes that just wide of the goal. Gould tries to hustle to keep it in, but can't. Out comes Gallant to Yzerman. He fires, and Langway with an important block on the Capitals' defense. Rod Langway in the corner. Stopping their captain, Rod Langway, the captain of the Capitals, stopping Yzerman, who captains the Red Wings. Out to center ice, and here's Chason. His play broken up. Stephen Leach works it free. Bumped by Chason in the neutral zone, and the puck sent back inside Washington ice. 14:35 to go here in this scoreless first period. Scott Stevens. Checked by Oates. Gets help from Kevin Hatcher. And up the left wing boards to the point. Here's Hallward to Oates right in front of the net. But the Capitals recover, and starting out comes Peter Sundstrom to center ice. Now to Michael Pavanka. Pavanka's shot goes high over the goal and hits the glass. Now the puck's centered. It's blocked right in front. Sundstrom reaching for it. Goes into the corner to Chase Norwood. Lee Norwood up on the right wing now for Barr. Dave Barr to Hallward out to center ice. And into the Washington zone, and Malarchuk is forced to play it, leaving it back for Scott Stevens. Backhand pass out to center ice. Sundstrom back for Scott Stevens. Now a pass again for Peter Sundstrom is broken up by Miroslav Preacher over on the right wing. Barr races to the corner, but that play broken up, and back comes Michael Pavanka now for the Capitals. Pavanka fires a shot. It's deflected, and it sails up into the seats out of play. There's a break in the action with a score. The Capitals nothing, and the Red Wings nothing.
Now when you pull into Roy's, there's a fast, new way to enjoy your favorite burgers. Introducing Roy's 3 new Express burgers. There's the Express with cheese, and the Express with bacon and cheese. To save you time, we fix them for you with loads of fresh toppings. So you can just take them and take them. Roy's 3 new Express burgers, all dressed up and ready to roll.
Look at the Capitals bench. You may have noticed a few moments ago, Lou Francischetti back with the team, called up after a stint in Baltimore where he was among the leading scorers in the American Hockey League, 8 goals and 7 assists. Certainly played very well and deserved a second chance here, back in the lineup now with the injury to Ivan Korovo.
Imagine what Jacques Demers has been going through with the problems with Probert and Kleeman, knowing he needs them on his team. The Red Wings certainly would benefit having those players in the lineup, but I think a lot of people really respect Jacques Demers and also respect Jim Devolato, the team's general manager, for the stand they've taken in making those players wait until their problems are straightened out.
And Jacques Demers sent another message to his team, sending down a guy he admits is one of his favorite players, John Chabot, who did such a great job for the Red Wings last year in a checking role, and also who increased his offensive production when Yzerman went out with the injury. But he said Chabot had not been playing well, sent him down to Adirondack. So you're talking about a lot of key players on this team not in the lineup. And remember, Harold Snepsts did not re-sign with this team. He was a pretty solid player as well.
Here's Higgins across the line, and now Chason lets fly with a blast. Malarchuk with a stick save. Rod Langway up the boards on the left wing side, moves it out to Bobby Gould at center ice. Gould tips it across the line, back inside the Red Wing zone. No score, 13 minutes to play here in the first period. Chason at the blue line, the play broken up. It hits Ridley and bounces back into the Red Wing zone. Courtnall was inside the line, and offside is called. Lou Francischetti, as Al mentioned, summoned from Baltimore in the absence of Ivan Korovo, who's injured. Pete Peters still injured. The scratches tonight, Jim Thompson and Kent Carlson for the Capitals. The scratches for Detroit are Gilbert Delorme and Jim Pavis.
And the lines have been juggled around a bit. Jeff Courtnall, who has been playing almost exclusively with Bengt Gustafsson and David Christian on what has proven to be the top line for the Capitals, he's been struggling a bit. So he's in a situation now where Brian Murray's trying to shake things up a bit, trying to get Courtnall on track, as well as Mike Gartner. And he has put those two with a very hot center iceman in Mike Ridley.
Steve Leach gets the draw and throws it back to the blue line after Gould was in there to work the faceoff. Here's Rick Zombo wearing number 4 for Detroit, over to Steve Chason. Out at center ice, Bob Gould plays it ahead to Leach on the right wing. Gould hustles across the line, cuts to the net, fires it, hits Kelly Miller in the back of the skates, and goes to the corner. Chason taken away. Here's Leach right in front, tries to get a shot off. There's a penalty call coming up. That's going to be 2 minutes for cross-checking to Detroit. So the Capitals will have the game's first power play when we come back. There's a break in the action. The Capitals and the Red Wings are still scoreless.
The law firm of Schmidt, Schmidt & Schmidt had a communications problem. When Schmidt was speaking to Schmidt, he couldn't also speak to Schmidt. When Schmidt was out, he couldn't get his calls forwarded. And if Schmidt was trying to call Schmidt while he was on the line with Schmidt, Schmidt would get a busy signal. So the smarter Schmidt called for Bell Atlantic's IQ service and got call forwarding, call waiting, and three-way calling, which made everything simple. Now Schmidt could forward to Schmidt. Schmidt could get through to Schmidt. Schmidt could call Schmidt's brother C&P Telephone, a Bell Atlantic company. We're more than just talk.
A penalty to Detroit's Gerard Gallant for cross-checking. Gives us time for the first Circuit City Power Play contest. Tonight's first contestant, Matthew Kraft of Herndon, Virginia. Matthew has chosen Mike Gartner as the Capitals player to score this power play. If Mike Gartner scores, Matthew receives a video or stereo unit courtesy of Circuit City.
Well, Matthew, Mike Gartner would certainly be glad to be able to oblige you. Only one power play goal so far on the season. He has not scored a goal in the last 6 games. 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 points on the season, and Mike Gartner wants to get going. Here's Hatcher at the point. Feeds it over to Courtnall. Into the corner for Scott Stevens, and that's thrown all the way to the point. Hatcher keeps it in. Red Wings unable to clear. Hatcher skates to center point. To Gustafson. Back to Hatcher. And now Courtnall fires a shot. One-timing a drive from a bad angle and still sends it right on goal, and Hanlon had to scramble to stop that low shot.
This is the dimension Jeff Courtnall gives Brian Murray on the power play. The Capitals have one very good one-time artist. That is Dave Christian, who will man that left side with the right-handed shot. Now Brian Murray has another weapon, and he instructs his point men when both Christian and Courtnall are allowed to continue to look for that setup play, because Courtnall and Christian are excellent at getting that puck away as it is coming to him. And you can see there, he gets rebounds, or it's very difficult for those goaltenders to make that quick move if you get the shot off from the pass that quickly.
Detroit has 5 shots in the game. The Capitals just a moment ago with their 4th. No score. 12 minutes to play here in the first period. Courtnall with the puck, setting up the Capitals power play attack. 1.5 minutes to go with the extra man advantage. Gallant in the box for cross-checking. The time of the penalty, 7:34. At the point, here's Hatcher. Over to Courtnall. Feeds to the blue line, and Hatcher again to Courtnall, goes for the one-timer, and this time doesn't get good wood on it. Courtnall waits as Gustafson goes down the middle, but Zombo deflects the pass. Dave Christian tied up in the corner, and here's Stevens to work it away. Brings it out to Courtnall. 55 seconds left to go in the Washington power play. Courtnall and Hatcher trading passes. Now into the corner goes Stevens at the side of the net. His shot blocked by Hanlon. And behind the goal, Zombo and Chason doing the job as Stevens is knocked down and the Red Wings clear the puck. Line changes for both sides with 30 seconds to go in the Washington power play. The Capitals 10th in the league at 23% with the extra man advantage. Seemed to get their power play going against Edmonton the other night. They had 2 goals out of 5 opportunities. The Red Wings 5th in the league while shorthanded at 82%. And they killed off 6 for 6 in Minnesota Saturday and have killed off 10 of the last 10 they faced. Mike Gartner dumps it across the line, back inside the Red Wing zone. That puck comes off the boards all the way out to center. Here's Larry Murphy. Leads it ahead to Gartner. Gartner cuts across the line, walks in for the wrist shot, and it's lost in a crowd of skaters. The puck cleared to the point now for Murphy. Bounces it in front. Gartner can't get to it. Taken by O'Connell. Now thrown out in front of the net, and Ridley reaches for it. At the point, Ledyard keeps it in. In front, Gartner deflects the shot. Right on goal. Hanlon sprawls to make the save, and it looked as though the red goal light flickered on for just a moment, but that puck appeared to hit the goalpost and come right back out again.
And it was right there on the line. This hits the inside of the goalpost, but in my mind, seeing it the first time, it definitely did not cross all the way. Ledyard saves it, just flips the shot there. Look at the strange deflection it takes right between the legs. You just don't really see it, but I don't think that thing ever completely crossed the goal line, which meant that's the only way it could be a goal. But it is close, and I can understand why the goal judge had the itchy trigger finger. Right there on the goal line, comes back out off the post, and Hanlon quick to cover up.
Mike Gartner just can't seem to buy a goal these days. He's just having incredible lack of luck, lack of breaks. It's happened to him before, though, and I think Mike knows that eventually he always seems to come out of it and still can come up with, a fine season.
And as a veteran, he has the understanding of the game in that sense. He knows that they will come for him. He knows that in situations, if he had been on a hot streak, that thing would have been in without question. But he also is a guy who is realistic and knows that they will come eventually if he just keeps shooting.
There's a delayed penalty call coming up. It's against Washington. Out of the nets comes Glenn Hanlon. The Red Wings put on a sixth attacker. Yzerman goes to the corner, and it's taken away by Sheehy. And as Neil Sheehy throws it all the way down the ice, the whistle blows and play is called. Washington's first penalty coming up. There's a break in the action. No score.
Hey, Fred, give me a pizza with extra cheese.
Extra cheese.
And hold the tomato sauce.
Hold the tomato sauce.
And hold the crust.
Hold the crust. Hey, Jimmy, give me a cheese with nut.
Nothing? Now you can have the best part of the pizza without the pizza. Polly-O string cheese, all natural, individually wrapped cheese snacks.
Is this what you want?
Bellissimo. Magnifique.
C'est bon.
Try Polly-O string cheese. It's the best part of the pizza.
Caps return home from this road trip Friday night to take on the New York Islanders at 8:05 p.m. All fans will receive a full-color poster, A Touch of Class, featuring Rod Langway, Mike Gartner, and Scott Stevens. Tickets are available at all Hex ticket centers, or call phone charge at 432-0200 or 1-800-448-9009. And operators will be on duty until 10 p.m. tonight.
Power play hockey for Detroit. They're 16th in the league, struggling at only 19%. They went 0 for 7 on the power play against Minnesota on Saturday night. In the last 22 chances on the power play, Detroit has scored but 1 goal. The Capitals at 76%, ranking 16th in the league. While shorthanded, they killed off 5 of 6 against the Oilers in their last game. Here's Adam Oates. Over now to Paul McLean. He shoots off the side of the net. Oates tries to dig it free, brings it over to the corner. Gallant to play it. In heavy traffic, Langway comes back to jam up, and now it's stolen in the corner by Mike Ridley. Or Kevin Hatcher, rather, waving his stick at Oates, trying to chase him out. Here's McLean. Back to the point. Yzerman fires. Malarchuk makes the save, and he had to see that one through a lot of people in front. Gallant and Langway start to push and shove in the aftermath.
We've got 58 seconds left in the hooking call to Peter Sundstrom. This is the area where Bob Probert and Peter Klima are definitely missed by the Detroit Red Wings. Probert had improved so dramatically as a goal scorer, and he was excellent on the power play and in front situations. He'd be the guy to get there, provide the screen, and he's so strong he'd dig those rebounds. You see there where Malarchuk, because of the good work at the end there by Langway moving out Gallant, has a little easier time of it, although that puck is flipping a bit, and Clint wanted to make no mistakes. But here's the area, Mike, where Bob Probert is sorely missed. He was such a bull in front of that net, almost impossible to move out, and had the quick shot to get it away on those rebounds.
Paul McLean trying to chase the puck, and now Yzerman has to hustle back to his own line to get it. Over to McLean. He feeds to Jeff Sharples. 40 seconds left on the Detroit power play. The Capitals have Sundstrom in the penalty box for hooking. The time of the penalty, 10:19 of the first period. No score here in Detroit as the Capitals finish off a 5-game road swing. Sharples dumps it in. Neil Sheehy takes a swing at the puck and knocks it all the way back into Red Wing ice. 15 seconds left until Sundstrom comes out of the box. Yzerman cuts to the goal, a backhander. Malarchuk makes the save. With only 7 seconds left on the penalty.
How about that for a little bit of acceleration for a guy who has been out there the entire power play shift, only 7 seconds remaining. Now, he was playing the point, but certainly going end to end, coming down at the other end of the ice, and Steve Yzerman still showing that little burst of speed there and getting that one-hand shot away.
You talked earlier, Al, about that comeback that Yzerman made, which was nothing short of miraculous during the playoffs with that knee injury that had to have this entire organization holding their breath.
And it's not only did he just come back, but he came back pretty much at the same level he left, which everybody was worried about. How much would that injury affect his style of play? Well, one, it certainly doesn't look like it's affected his speed that much, and he certainly is getting in there, going into work along the boards, not shying away from contact, and that was a major concern with everybody as well.
Quite an inspirational leader of this Detroit Hockey Club, Steve Yzerman. Here's Lee Norwood. Out to center ice with Sean Burr across the line, and Norwood with the shot. Malarchuk makes the save. And the Capitals in there quickly to make sure Burr has nothing in mind in the form of trying to knock the puck away from Clint Malarchuk, who had held on to that hard shot from Norwood.
Be sure to be with DC 20 tomorrow night at 8 p.m. for Who Murdered JFK, a live special brought to you in a remembrance of John Kennedy 25 years after his assassination. That's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on DC 20.
Sean Burr, another young rising star on this Detroit Hockey Club, leans in to work the draw against Hunter, and Burr is asked to leave. He came in too quickly. The draw instead taken by Dave Barr. The Capitals get it. Here's Hunter across the line, gives it off now to Ridley, a wrist shot, and the save is made by Hanlon. He gets tied up with Ridley as play comes back up ice. Now Burr dumps it into the corner. Scott Stevens behind the net. Out to Hunter. Dale Hunter across the line. Both clubs at full strength. Wrist shot is on goal, and the save made by Hanlon. Washington's 7th shot on goal. Detroit has 8. Back into the Capital zone. Sheehy to pick it up. Barr is there to tie him up. Now Hunter tries to work it free. Preacher pushes it behind the net. Barr to the corner, held by Scott Stevens. Sean Burr steps in, but Hunter is able to push Barr out of the way, and the puck comes out to center ice. Jeff Courtnall dumps the puck back inside the Red Wing zone. 6.5 minutes to go here in the first period. There's no score. Larry Murphy at center ice gets across the line to Lou Francischetti, just up from Baltimore, playing his first game of the season tonight with the Washington Capitals. Graves pushes it across the line back inside the Capital zone, and Malarchuk sends it off the corner board. Now the puck centered, and right in front, Malarchuk manages to get a piece of it and deflects it back to the corner. Chris King in to throw a hit. At the point, Sharples takes a shot. It's blocked by Gustafson, and out to center ice comes Jim Nill. Here's Nill to Chris King. Now Ledyard takes it away, but King picks it up, and he's offside as they push it across the blue line. Play is called. There's a break in the action with the score. The Capitals nothing, and the Red Wings nothing.
It's back. It's going, gone. That's out of here.
This and every sunset is brought to you by Michelob, proud sponsors of night games everywhere. Shouldn't your night belong to Michelob? The night has always brought out the contemplative side of man.
Why am I here? Where am I going? Will they have Michelob when I get there? I'm not going if they don't have Michelob.
5:50 left to go in this first period. Still no score between the Caps and the Red Wings. Jacques Demers has his checking line out there now, and it's going to be an interesting matchup. He's got a young player in Adam Graves out there, or Steve Graves rather, out there for in a center position, taking over where Shabbat normally plays, and another rookie on left wing in King, and this is their top checking line. Chris King against Kristen should be an interesting matchup.
Here comes Sharples to start out, moves it ahead to center ice and dumps it back inside the Washington zone. No score in the game, 5.5 minutes to go here in the first period. Dave Christian works his way to center, gets it across the line, stops looking for some help and ends up throwing it rink wide. The Capitals changing lines, and the Red Wings cleared all the way back to Washington ice. Here's Larry Murphy. Quick pass comes ahead to Steve Leach. Leach breaks in, gives it over to Miller. Back to Leach, behind the net. Tries to wrap it around, but he shoots wide. He was checked right at the side of the Red Wing goal. And now Hanlon scoops it up and hangs on, fearing that some Capitals were nearby, but Paul Stewart allowed him to stop play, even though he really wasn't threatened. He had Sharples standing right in front of him, standing guard. And those two talk it over now, right in front of the Detroit net. Kelly Miller, one of several Capitals who have connections in this area of the state of Michigan, takes a seat next to Lou Francischetti. Miller, of course, born here in Detroit, played at Michigan State, and still has his father, the whole Miller family of brothers coming out of Lansing, Michigan. Kevin Hatcher, born here in Detroit. Bobby Gould and Dale Hunter just up the river a bit and down the road in Petrolia, Ontario. Kevin Hatcher's played 9 games against the Red Wings in his career and has never scored a point. You think that he doesn't think about that coming into this building? And he would love to come up with a big night here at the Joe Louis Arena. How many people has he got here anyway?
He said he's a number of fans, friends and family, and he'll be our guest in that first intermission.
Generally a large group come out to see Kevin Hatcher. His game certainly isn't based solely on offense, but right now he's number 2 among defensemen in scoring for the Washington Capitals. Scott Stevens is first. Stevens with 9 points. At the point, here is Hatcher, paired up now with Rod Langway. Bobby Gould in behind the net. Pass out front for Steve Leach, and Gallant interferes and now takes it away, gives it off to McLean. Back to Gallant, gets across the line. And Leach starts back for the Capitals. Slap shot from the blue line and a kick save made by Glenn Hanlon. And he directs that up into the seats for a souvenir. There's a break in the action with the score. The Capitals nothing and the Red Wings nothing.
Senator Mikulski.
I'm a Democrat who fights hard for what she believes in. So does Peter Franchot. That's why I urge you to vote for him on November 8th.
Peter Franchot, Democrat for Congress.
You will not believe what just happened to me.
Some loose woman that you've never met before has agreed to go back to your place and participate in some deviant sexual behavior.
What gave me away, the drool?
Weeknights at 7.
Brian Murray looks on. He has Ridley out there with Portnoy now playing a little bit on that right side, although just basically for this face-off, Mike Gartner, who will be the right winger normally, will swing in there towards the middle to try and a little better shooting angle. Brian has also seen the line he's got out there to check. Yzerman has really been the best line so far tonight. Bobby Gould's unit with Kelly Miller and Stephen Leach certainly have generated most of the attack for the Washington Capitals. They will obviously get plenty of opportunities tonight.
Here's Ridley shooting and had to take that pass right on the heel of his stick as he was being checked by Norwood, and Ridley knew he was coming, but Norwood is the player who seems to have been shaken up on the play after that collision.
And right now, I would have to say Lee Norwood is the leader for the Detroit Red Wings on defense, a veteran who really has come into his own under Jacques Demers and in this Detroit system. And this would be a tremendous blow for Jacques Demers, as we've talked about all the other personnel problems that have plagued him so far this year. Well, the Capitals have put together a video that will be available in time for the holidays. What this video will include will be the 1987-88 highlight film, plus 2 original songs, Double Trouble and Out on Top, that were just recently recorded by the entire team out in Calgary. To order your videos at $21 plus $2.50 for postage and handling to Capitol Souvenirs, Capitol Center, Landover, Maryland, 20785.
Lee Norwood is limping now in the runway right behind the Red Wing bench and is still standing up under his own power, so it doesn't look to be too serious an injury. We'll see if he comes back for any more play here in the first period. 3:35 to go, no score. Kelly Miller in there to try and dig it free. Jams up with Chason. Back to the point. And Scott Stevens hooks Paul McLean on the play as McLean had beaten him and shoved the puck past him, tried to get his body around him, and Scott pulls him down. There's a Washington penalty. It's going to be 2 minutes for tripping to Stevens at 16:36.
Here's a classic situation where just take no chances. If the man is going to beat you, grab him. You can't let a guy like Paul McLean get in on a breakaway. Scott's got it, flips the shot, but it just bounces off the pads of McLean and out. And Scott knew he was going to get beaten. Why take the chance with a dangerous guy like that coming down on Clint Malarchuk? See what the Capital penalty killers then can do. So the Red Wings go back on the power play for the second time in this contest. Earlier, Peter Sundstrom had taken a penalty call, and now with Stevens off the ice for tripping at 16:36. Detroit has the extra man advantage. Dave Barr is split wide to the left with Sharples on the line up front, along with Preacher and Adam Oates. And a hand pass stops play. Sharples skating up from defense to occupy the left wing spot in an interesting formation that has Yzerman as the lone defender back, and that I would think leaves the Red Wings susceptible here to a shorthanded goal should the Capitals get the draw, but they don't, and Yzerman dumps it at the line. So Demers very confident in his face-off man there. Langway steals the puck now and passes between his skates to get it ahead to Gustafsson. He's across the blue line. Yzerman in there to poke check, but Gustafsson recovers and brings it back to Rod Langway. He sends it all the way down to ease the pressure, killing off 30 seconds of the penalty time thus far. Captain Steve Yzerman of the Red Wings out to center ice. Inside the Washington zone, Langway in to get it and is there to touch it first. That's icing against Detroit. Really an unpardonable sin considering that Detroit was on the power play and failed to send the puck in until after they had crossed the blue line. They dumped it in before they crossed that line, and that brings the face-off to Detroit ice. And you see what Jacques Demers is forced to do now with this power play because he doesn't have Probert, no Klima. He's got a guy like Dave Barr, who basically has been known throughout his career as a role player, a grinder. He's off to a pretty good scoring start right now, but they were trying to set him up on that dump. Yzerman was just trying to dump it in and hope it caromed off the boards right to Barr, who was swinging down on that left wing side. But instead of bouncing back out, it swung around the boards where the Capitals were get it. So they really don't have the playmakers, the real skilled people down there now. So they're just going to try and grind it out on this power play.
Here's Sharples out to center ice, dumps it back inside the Washington zone, and Hatcher is in to throw a hit into Barr. Langway clears the puck up the boards, but Sharples keeps it in the corner. 55 seconds left in the penalty. And a stolen puck, and here comes Kelly Miller starting back on the right wing. He gives to Gartner, cutting across the line. Gartner behind the net. Holds onto the stick of Yzerman as he brings it back to the point. The shot blocked, and out comes Detroit's Dave Barr on the comeback. He leads it ahead to Sharples. Left wing side for Yzerman. Yzerman cuts in, feeds it to Oates, flips it right in front. The Red Wings score as Sharples puts it off Malarchuk's arm and into the net. It's 1-0 Detroit. Jeff Sharples carries the puck across the line and throws the pass ahead on the left wing. And as Yzerman stops at the point, he's able to lead it ahead, and there's the pivot man, Oates, who throws it right across the defender in front. And Sharples is alone, cutting in from that blue line to make it 1-0. Time of the goal, 18 minutes and 7 seconds of the first period. Here you see the pass out front, and as Sharples cuts in, Malarchuk is down and gets a piece of it, but not enough. And Detroit takes a 1-0 lead. Here's more pressure. Oates and Yzerman getting the assists. At 18-7 for Sharples, his second goal of the season, And it comes on the Detroit power play. 1:20 to go now in the first period. Washington back at full strength as Stevens has been released from the penalty box. Here's Larry Murphy. Sends it across the line. Courtnall back to get it. The play broken up, and here comes Tim Higgins. Throws it in for Barr in the corner, and he tries to spin Ledyard around. We're in the final minute of play now here in the first period. Lead pass ahead for Gartner, but it's taken by Ridley. He finds Murphy. Up to Courtnall. Courtnall across the line. Gartner bumps with Zombo in the corner, and the Red Wings come back on the attack. Adam Graves throws it into the corner. Chris King pushes Stevens away, but the Capitals come out. Here's Gartner on the left wing side to Courtnall. Courtnall gets across the blue line, stops in the corner. Sees Sheehy at the point, winds it around behind the goal. The centering pass is taken by Gartner, and as he tried to pass out for Courtnall, Hanlon held his stick out there to block it and ended up having to block the deflection as it rolled right to his goalie pad, and he was able to smother it and stop play with just 24 seconds left here in the first period. Chris King, the Red Wing rookie, playing tonight with an injured jaw that he suffered Friday in a fight with Kurt Fraser of the North Stars, and did not dress for Saturday's game in Minnesota. Has not scored yet on the season and has already racked up 36 minutes in penalties. But his jaw has to be a little bit sore after having suffered that injury in that fight. But he's in the Red Wing lineup. Here's Larry Murphy in the corner. Now Yzerman works it free. Feeds it ahead to Dave Barr. Cuts in. Stevens, the lone man back, and a hip check thrown by Scott Stevens. He was the only man back and still threw Barr end over end. Now on the right wing. Hunter, a drop pass. And time runs out in the period. Shots on goal here in the first period. Detroit 10 and Washington 9. And the Red Wings lead 1-0 on Jeff Sharple's power play goal at 18-7 of the first period. Our live exclusive coverage of the Washington Capitals and the Detroit Red Wings will continue in just a moment right here on your superstation for sports, DC 20.